Hello and welcome to this new video. Today we'll talk about how a chicken coop can transform from a simple hobby into a real source of income, and we'll also see how it can truly be a source of self-sufficiency, since many people think that simply putting a few chickens in a pen is enough. For those who don't know me, I am Alessandro De Luca, co-founder of Rendita Agricola, and together with my wife Valentina we have guided over 3,000 students in building their agricultural income from self-sufficiency to achieving full activity, and create, of course, self-sufficiency that it's not too easy like it could seem. In this video, I'll show you three different approaches, one for family self-sufficiency, one with laying hens, and one with breeding, with real numbers and necessary investments. At the end, you will be clear on which path is for you. Let's start. So, before talking about how a chicken coop can also give you financial freedom, I want us to understand together a fundamental concept: how a self-sufficient chicken coop works. And do you know why it's so important to understand this, even if your goal is to build an income? Because the more you make your coop autonomous, the less you become a slave to the animals and the more time you have to live your life. Makes sense, right? Think of the chicken coop as a small ecosystem. It's a living system that needs things coming in, like food, water, the animals themselves, and this little ecosystem produces things going out, like the eggs that we eat, fertile eggs, we have a roaster, and all the bedding with droppings that are pure gold for our garden, no? So, now, the mistake that so many people making is thinking linearly. I buy feed, I give to the chickens, I get eggs, and every month expense at the consortium, every day hours feeding, changing water, cleaning, you become dependent. Instead, we need to think circularly. Close the circle. I'll give you a practical example. Food. Sure, at the beginning you'll buy it, but over time you can grow part of the grains. You don't need hectares of land, just knowledge. And then there are garden scraps, leaves, imperfect vegetables, everything you would normally throw away. Chickens are omnivores, they eat practically everything. So you can, with the right knowledge, of course, you can create a system that doesn't depend from the outside. And it's not too difficult. Another example, water. You can connect to the water supply, sure, but if you collect rainwater in a tank, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 liters, it depends of how many hens do you have, of course. How many weeks are you covered? You have to calculate this. And if it rains regularly, you might not have that expense anymore. And here we get to the point that almost no one understands: the animals themselves. This is crucial, so listen carefully. See, most people, and I'm talking about 90% of those who have hobby coops, go to the agricultural consortium where you can buy things and say, I'd like some chickens to make eggs. And what they give them? Normally the most famous, the white and the red. They call them like this, which aren't even real breed names. They are industrial hybrids selected for intensive farming. And what's the problem with these hybrids? Their egg machines, yes, for 2 years they produce a lot, but then they were out. And above all, this is the real problem, they don't brood, they don't reproduce. After 2 years you have to buy them again. You're always dependent on someone else. It's not self-sufficiency, it's just having moved the dependence from the supermarket to the consortium. Do you understand the difference? To build a truly self-sufficient chicken coop, you need to think differently. You need to create a mini ecosystem that sustains itself. And to do that, you need to mix different types of chickens. Not one breed alone, but a small balanced group. First type, real laying hens, like the authentic Livornese. No? It's a most famous chicken breed for this type of hens, not the one from the consortium. Those are your high producers, tireless. Those give you constant production for many years and a lot each year. Second type, dual purpose. These are bigger, calmer, they make good eggs, but they are also chickens that wake. If one day you also need meat, you have a chicken that's worth it. Examples, Marans, Australorp. They are beautiful, by the way. The Marans even makes chocolate colored eggs. Second type. Third type, and here it gets interesting, the breeding hens. Like the Mugellese, which is Italian, these have a very strong brooding instinct. When they decide to brood, they stop flattening the nest, and for 21 days they do everything themselves. They are built for this. It's very important to have this kind of hens. Otherwise, if you want to reproduce your own chickens and you don't have a real mother, you need to grow yourself your small chickens, and it's not that easy if you don't know how to do it, and there are a lot of variables that you have to afford if you don't have a real mother that can do everything for you. In my chicken coop, I have a Mugellese and she does everything. I don't have to do nothing to grow up that mini chickens, right? So, fourth type, there are the meat hens. They don't produce a lot of eggs, but they are very nice and large and big, so they can provide plenty of meat. I don't know if you are starting to see the potential. With this mix, you have a coop that self-reproduces. The laying hens give you constant production. The roosters, of course you need roosters, fertilize the eggs. The brooding hens hatch them, and you have new chicks without spending €1, a pound. Alright? So without buying incubators, without depending on anyone. Now for a normal family, 6-7 chickens are enough. In Italy we consume about 240 eggs per person per year. With 6-7 mixed chickens, you are comfortably covered. You even have margins to give some to neighbors. And do you know how much space do you need? This, around 18 square meters. Less than a parking space. Valentina and I here have our self-sufficiency. Look, that one there is a Livornese, those two are Marans, see how beautiful, and that's our Mugellese and the Australorp, the black one. So I'll tell you something beautiful that happened this year. The Mugellese decided to brood. We didn't do anything. Simply one day we saw her still in the nest. We put some eggs from the other chickens under her and she brooded. 21 days later, 2 chicks. She hatched them, kept them warm, taught them everything with zero. Cost, zero. Time spent by us, zero. Apart from watching them grow, which is beautiful. Today, those 2 chicks are practically chickens. One is a rooster and the other one is a hen. We have 2 more animals in our crop at zero cost. This is a self-sufficient chicken coop. It's a system that sustains itself. And now that you understand how self-sufficiency works, let's see how this same system can also become a source of income for your family. There are different approaches. First approach, for those who want to build an income, is raising laying hens for selling food eggs. The setup is simple. It could be 400 square meters fenced, 100 breed chickens, and the right automation. It's really important. Automatic waterers, continuous distribution feeders, automatic door, everything needed for the coop to work almost by itself. You will go, of course, to the chicken coop every day to catch the eggs, but the chicken coop is not depending on you, and it's really different because you are free. If you can't go there 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or 4 days or 5 days or 7 days, it's not important because they do everything themselves. You don't have to open or close the door because it's automatic. And the chickens, don't worry, they will go inside when it's dark, don't worry. You only have to teach them at the beginning, but it's really easy, and then everything is automatic. Is amazing because you only have to go there once a week or once every 2 weeks. It depends on how much you automated everything, and you go there and you have to restore the food, for example, but for the next 15 days you don't have to do nothing. And the water, if you use an automatic waterers that could be attached to the supply, you don't have to do nothing. Because, you know, it's like the VC, no? on our bathroom. They fool themselves without your job, right? So the initial investment to do this, it starts from 2, 3, 5 100,000 euros or pounds. If you are good at building and recovering, you can also spend less, of course. Or it can go up to 10, 12,000 if you buy everything ready-made, very incredible, and you buy a lot of chickens and everything. It depends in which variables you are going to fail, you know what I mean? But the interesting thing is something else. With 100 chickens, you produce about 20,000 eggs per year. And stop here for a moment, because many make a mistake. They sell eggs at 40, 50 cents, thinking they are being competitive. No, if you use quality breeds, the real Livornese, the Marans that makes chocolates colored and salmonella-free eggs, you have a story to tell. You have real value to offer. 70, 80 cents is the right price. I make the price in euro, you can convert, but it's exactly the same. Those looking for quality pay it gladly. At the price with normal management expenses, you end up with a very interesting operating margin. You recover the investments in less than a year, and then it's income. How much time do you need? If you have set up the right automation, about an hour and a half a day to collect eggs, check them, package them if you have an activity. It's really enough. Then once a week you fill feeders and waterers, like I said before. Once a month you clean, it's done. You don't have to bring the chickens in at night, you don't have to feed every morning, you don't have to fill water every day, you don't have to go there 3 times per day. Practically the coop works almost by itself. And this was the first model. Solid, simple, perfect to start. Now there's a second approach that's different, more niche, more technical, but with potentially higher margins. Breeding selected breeds is very beautiful. Here the setup changes completely. Instead of 100 chickens all together, you have 10 separate boxes. Each box has 6 hens plus a pure breed roster. Total 60 hens and 10 roster in around 100-150 square meters. So fewer chickens, less space, but higher potential. Why? Because here you no longer just sell food eggs, you sell fertile eggs, which sell for 3-4 times more. In Italy we sell them at 3 euros instead 70 cents. Or you can sell the animals themselves, of course. Chicks, young chickens, adult hens. Fertile eggs have a huge market. Enthusiasts who want to incubate particular breeds, hobbyists, people who want to create their self-sufficient coop like the one we talked about before. And here you can play 2 ways. Either you sell all the fertile eggs directly, already excellent margins, or, and here it becomes very interesting, you sell half and incubate the other half yourself. With a professional incubator, even with conservative hatching rates, from those eggs you get hundreds of chicks. And the breed chicks sell between 15 and 16 euros depending on age and breed and quality of the genetic and everything. The margins speak clearly. You can easily double what you would do with laying hens, but, and this is important, it requires more skills. You need to know how to select animals, crest, plumage, conformation. You need to know well the breeds you raise. You need to manage incubation professionally, and you need a minimum of marketing to sell, of course. It's not for everyone, especially at the beginning, but if it excites you, the potential is all there. So let's recap the 3 approaches. First, family self-sufficiency. 6-7 chickens, around 18 square meters, minimum investment, goal, food freedom. But you have to create an ecosystem that doesn't depend on you. Second, income laying hens, around, for example, 100 chickens, 400 square meters, investment between 2 and 12,000 euros, solid margins, manageable work, if you do what I said, of course. Third, breeding. So 60, 70 total animals, 100, 150 square meters, similar investment, but potentially double margins. More technical, more niche. My advice, don't skip steps. If you're starting from scratch, start with self-sufficiency. Learn to manage 6-7 chickens, experiment with breeds, understand automation. After 6-12 months, when you have real experience, decide whether to scale. Many of our students did this. First, food security. Then, if they liked it and saw opportunities, they transformed passion into income. The important thing is to do things in the right order. 1. Get trained. Understand before investing, otherwise it's a mess. 2. Start small, test and learn. 3. Scale only when you have mastery. In the description you'll find free resources to explore this better and also many other interesting topics. If instead you'd like structured training and personalized support, there are our courses. If you have questions, write them in the comments. Thank you for your attention and remember, prepare first, not after. See you in the next video.